Hello, my friends. Hello. It's Sabrina, and this is the Secrets of a Witch podcast, where I talk all about life, love, spirituality, healing, trauma, witchcraft, magic, spirituality, tarot, divination, and everything in between. And I'm just going to launch right into today's topic. Something I've been thinking a lot about, and you'll probably see me doing a YouTube live about this at some point in the future, because I think it's an interesting topic that a lot of folks will likely be excited to chat with me about, hopefully. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But first off, today's episode. So I wanted to talk about how, as I've gotten older and more healed and I guess more advanced, deeper in my spiritual work, it's increasingly clearer and clearer and clearer to me that a lot of folks who are doing magic for the wrong reasons, about the wrong things, and are not coming from a good place. And it makes me kind of bummed out to say that, because there's a part of me that wants to just be like, no, magic is always the best, and everyone practicing magic is super cool and awesome. And I think we probably all know, those of us who spend time on the witchy internet, that is not true. A lot of people practicing magic are fucking crazy and mean, just not well people, and it's just something I wanted to talk about. I feel like a lot of folks have a lot of healing to do. And your magic can really only be as decisive and as mature and as grounded and asking for the right things in the right way as you are, as mature as you are. Your magic's only going to be as healed and mature and grounded as you are. And of course, magic can help us get there. Magic can help us ground ourselves more. Magic can help us heal. I 100% believe that, so much that I wrote an entire book about it. My new graphic novel, Bodymagic, which y'all should read if you have not yet done so already. You can find it on Amazon. So I do believe that magic can help us heal. However, what I do notice a lot of, unfortunately, in the witchy community, even amongst folks who are grown-ass adults, is that a lot of folks seem to want to do magic for very immature, selfish, childish reasons. Cursing so-and-so because they said something mean to you on the internet, or cursing a politician that you don't like because you just disagree with his politics. And I just find all of that shit just so fucking stupid and a waste of time. And I tell people this all the time. Some folks listen to me, some people don't. But most of our magic should be on ourselves. It should be on getting rid of our own bad habits. It should be around self-control, around things that we have a hard time stifling in ourselves, but that we know we need to for our growth and healing. It should be around healing our anger. It should be around bringing more peace into our lives. It should be around helping us work through whatever tough emotions we're going through. It should be stuff like that. And I know I'm saying the word should. Not everyone loves that word. And I don't really want to tell anyone what to do. But at the same time, what I do notice, unfortunately, in the community is that there's a lot of people working with magic and witchcraft in petty ways that are just ultimately immature and not rooted in a grounded, healed, mature perspective. And on one hand, I do think it's appropriate to sometimes do magic that will clap back or fuck someone up. I think sometimes that is appropriate. However, it is very, 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 very rarely appropriate. And what I see in the community is there's so few folks who seem to have any kind of ethical or emotional groundedness in what they're doing and why they're doing it. A lot of it is very emotionally reactive. It is, I feel upset about blah, 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 or this, that thing or the other. This person won't do this, yada, yada, I'm sad. I'm mad at this person, fuck them, therefore I'm going to curse them, therefore I'm going to do this, I'm going to bind them, I'm going to put them in the freezer, blah, 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 blah. All of that is often, it's just avoidance. It's avoidance of your own shadow and your own bullshit and your own immaturity and your own need to heal. And the first episode I ever recorded of this show back in I don't even remember, 2022 maybe? I don't remember. A while ago, it was, why are so many witches miserable? So that was episode number 1. I think it still is the most listened to episode on this show. Well, maybe that's not true. There's a few other episodes that have popped off on YouTube. I know my episode about Chani Nicholas and how I'm so over woke astrologers is really popular over on YouTube. And another one got a lot of traction on YouTube as well, about how, I think it was something about how do you notice someone is being emotionally manipulative or something like that. That one also does good over on the YouTube. But other than that, in the typical podcasting apps, I do think that first episode is the most popular, most listened to one. Why are so many witches miserable? And it's something I wanted to revisit today with today's episode, just because of so much of what I'm seeing online in the witchcraft space, whether that's on Instagram or YouTube to some extent, but also Threads and just the witchcraft community at large. And what I see is a lot of ego. What I see is a lot of insecurity. I see a lot of people who are trying to avoid facing their own shadow, their own problems, and folks who really just want to blame other people for their shortcomings or their emotions. And I think, unfortunately, things are worse now than they were a few years ago when I made that episode. I think a lot of people practicing witchcraft, unfortunately, are miserable. And I don't think it's the witchcraft's fault. I think it is... Witchcraft is one massive part of the equation. I think if we work with it properly and we work with it in the right way, where it is focused on us and changing us and having control over us and our circumstances, rather than trying to only control others, I think it can be really helpful. But it strikes me that a lot of people are not working with witchcraft in that way at all. And their ability to access the full power of what witchcraft is and can be is clouded often by their immaturity on one hand, and on the other hand, a lack of personal responsibility. And on the third hand, I guess we're just going to imagine we're all like cats or something. It's also a lack of emotional groundedness. And if we're going to do a fourth hand, why not? We'll pretend we're cats. We've got 4 hands, 4 feet, whatever. There's also this emotional reactivity. And I've noticed it a lot online where no one actually reads anything anymore. People just have this knee-jerk reaction where all they're focused on is externalizing that highly volatile emotion without stopping to think, hold on, did I accurately read what I thought I just read? And if so, is this reaction emotionally an appropriate reaction? Are we reacting in this knee-jerk way, which can often be unhealthy and volatile and just uncontained? And there's a lot we can say about that. Or is it a response? Is it considered? Is it grounded? What is going on? And in my opinion, there is room for magic to have spontaneous, spirited, emotion-based, emotion-led rituals and practices and workings. Absolutely. I've done some of my best workings in those circumstances. But at the same time, we need to be responding rather than reacting. We need to be like the Strength Tarot card. We need to have that self-control and self-mastery of that emotional self. And unfortunately, I think a lot of witchy folks have not mastered this, just like the rest of the population, and are not moving from this space of considered self-awareness and emotional sobriety. It's the easier option to make everyone else bad and wrong. It's a lot harder to look at the self and be like, okay, how can I work magic on myself to increase my discipline, to help me finish this project, to, help me release my anger, to help me take a breath before I do blah, 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 whatever thing it is, to help me have the energy to go to work every day, like whatever it happens to be in your own life. And I don't know, it's just annoying to me. And so as you are thinking about what magic you're doing in your life, I would really encourage y'all to just spend some time thinking about, okay, am I doing this from a grounded place? If I do feel emotionally heightened and activated, is that coming from a place of emotional sobriety, or is this coming from a place of trigger and trauma and reactivity that is maybe not 100% based on what is actually going on in front of me right now, but rather is like a throwback to some previous time where I was like triggered or actually in a violent or dangerous situation, emotionally, physically, or whatever. We have to be able to ask ourselves those questions as magical practitioners. We have to be able to ask ourselves, does it really make sense to do a working on something external? Or should we just take a breath and see how can we frame that work to be instead around ourselves and what we can do? In my mind, that's when magic works the best. Absolutely, we can influence other folks with magic, 100%. It can be done, not a problem. But is that always the healthiest course of action? I would say almost never. Again, there are exceptions to that. But for the most part, the best magic we can ever do is going to be on ourselves. And how we frame our magic and what magic we feel attracted to do is always going to be limited by our own mental framework. How healed are we? The more traumatized we are, the more unhealed we are, the more heightened we are, the more reactive and triggered we are, the more likely our magic is going to be a little bit unhinged. And I say this with love and with kindness and with compassion, because God knows I spent my teens doing a lot of, magic that came from a bit of an intense place. And I do think it had its role. But as I've gotten older, my perspective has shifted a little bit. And as I've gotten more grounded and healed in my own process, on my own energy, and have had a lot of success releasing a lot of those wounds. And until we heal our woundedness, we are going to carry it with us wherever we go, no matter what magic we do. And magic can help us heal those wounds. Absolutely. It was a big part of that for me. But we also have to be aware of, if we don't attend to our wounds, we're just going to be bleeding all over everyone all the time. And also bleeding on ourselves, shooting ourselves in the foot, whatever, choose your metaphor, choose your image. And so this time, as I said in my last episode of this show, can be volatile for some folks who are working through family stuff. I totally get it. But as you're thinking about what magic to do around this time, I would really encourage you to reorient around yourself. Instead of doing magic on someone that pissed you off this year, why not do some magic around helping you release the past, welcome in the new year? Why not do some magic to help you connect with an energized horse energy for the new year? Why not? Why not connect with the energy of Phoenix, death and rebirth, new beginnings? And do that intention setting positive work upon yourself. Do magic for the right reasons. And I know some people are really going to talk smack at me for being like very posy, happy with this. But for me, the proof is in the pudding. There's a lot of people doing these type of works that I'm complaining about that are miserable in their life. And with magic and witchcraft, as with most other things in life, the proof is in the pudding. Are you glowing? Are you happy? Are you being treated well? Are you having a good time in life? Or are you miserable with your situation? Do you hate yourself and everyone else around you? If so, that's something to be aware of as we reconsider what type of magic we want to be doing and what kind of life we ideally want to live. Magic can help us get there. Magic can help us get to and achieve and step into the life that we want, both externally in terms of achievement, but also internally, being at inner peace. But the type of magic we do influences how we're going to get there, how quickly we're going to get there. So I want to leave y'all with that. Something to think about. I am doing coaching right now. I would love a few more coaching clients. So if you are interested in having me help you with your spiritual practice, with your tarot practice, with your love life, with your finding your passion and what you want to do in this beautiful thing called life, love to work with you. SabrinaMScott.com. Fill out the little form on the contact page. And of course, you can also book tarot readings with me. I am doing year ahead tarot readings as well as just my normal ones as well. SabrinaMScott.com/readings. Of course, you can find me on Instagram, Sabrina M. Scott, and on Threads, same, and on YouTube, youtube.com/Sabrina Scott. And of course, if you are looking for a fun gift for the witchy human in your life, or maybe yourself, I do have 5 books out, which you can grab all those on Amazon. 2 of them are graphic novels, more poetic, about witchcraft and magic. I've got a Witchy 101 called Curse and Cure, a book of rituals, very fun, easy, accessible, called A Witch at Home. Of course, my poetry book, which is a little bit dark, called Rapeseed, about probably the obvious. You can put 2 and 2 together with that. My graphic novels are called Witch Body and Bodymagic. And I've also got a few journals. I've got a magical ritual journal. I've got 2 different tarot journals. And I've also got an oracle cards journal because I didn't want to leave out my oracle card people. So there's a gift for everyone in your witchy life and maybe for yourself. I know I definitely do use my journals all the time. They are really designed to be used in the way that you actually want to use a journal to record your tarot readings. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. And find all of that on Amazon. Just look up my name, Sabrina Scott, and I'm sure you will eventually find it. Also, of course, links on my website. Okay, that's it for now. Happy holidays, happy December, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.